r/ask Reddit. What is as bad as everyone says? Paper cuts between your finger webbing. Horrible. You have duck hands? Not anymore. Losing someone you love to Alzheimer's. I was 13 when my pap was diagnosed and 14 when he passed away. The day he was diagnosed, he was talking about how he felt fine and just because he couldn't find his car keys didn't mean he was sick. When he passed, he could no longer feed himself and had the mind of a 2-year-old. His sister also had Alzheimer's. Now, when my mom forgets something minor or can't find something, she practically has a meltdown thinking it's Alzheimer's. My grandpa passed away due to Alzheimer's last year. Our last real conversation occurred in 2015 when our beloved Toronto Maple Leafs hired a new coach. 2 weeks later, my dad called and told me grandpa had been hospitalized and he probably wouldn't recognize me anymore. We knew this day would come because he had Parkinson's, but it seemed to happen so fast. He didn't really recognize me, but every time I visited, I would always wear Leafs gear. Maybe it would spark a memory? IDK. Sure enough, almost every visit, he would ask me how the Leafs were doing. Cancer. And cancer treatment. I've been going through it the past few months. It is pretty awful. Having your heart broken. Edit. My heart goes out to everyone who's had to go through this god-awful experience. Being lied to and or cheated on by someone you trusted. Yup. Having to work all day during those days are really ducking tough. The crushing sense of regret you feel years down the line after not putting in the effort when it counted. Whatever you're afraid of, rest assured that it doesn't even come close to knowing you could have been done more. Duck eye. Hurts. Crush your fears and follow your dreams. Everyone says to get a plan B, but people always interpret it as having different goals aside from your dreams in case it doesn't work out when it's supposed to be a different way to get to your goal dream. Thank you for posting this. Fear truly is the enemy of humanity. Rape. It happened to me 3 days ago and I can't even walk to the store without having a panic attack. One of my professors just didn't care and wanted me to come in for a final the moment I was out of the hospital. The anti-HIV meds are making me nauseous and exhausted. Everyone is too afraid to talk to me. Like yeah, the actual event itself was horrifying. But I can see there's a long, rough road ahead of me. I don't know what I did to deserve this. I just know that now I need to survive. Edit. Shout out to the absolute Dunthmer from Soulful Power who tried to DM me details for his pyramid scheme saying it would help me with this. People that prey on the most vulnerable, such as yourself, make me sick to my stomach. I don't know what I did to deserve this. Don't let yourself believe that you did. Life is terribly unfair. Bad things happen to good people and vice versa, so don't blame yourself for it. There's nothing that justifies that happening to you or anyone else. Nothing. I know this wasn't aimed at me, but I needed to hear that, so thanks. Waterboarding is ducking terrifying. Even in my own home in a controlled environment doing it on a lark, the lizard brain was convinced that I was going to die. So, you waterboarded yourself? No, I talked my sister into waterboarding me because I make poor life choices. Dementia. My grandfather was one of the funniest, smartest and quick-witted people I have ever known. The last time I saw him before he died he took a while to recognize me and called himself stupid. I'm trying to think of a better way to word this but all I can think of is it's just really shit. If I ever get it, I will put a gun in my mouth. I love life, but duck dementia. Having a heart transplant. I'm 4 years out and still a physical and emotional mess. I never thought of this. Would you educate me a bit more about this topic? What do you mean by physical and emotional stress? How is the transplant causing that stress? The actual surgery is very invasive. You are put in a heart-lung machine and your old heart is removed. This machine can create lifelong cognitive problems. I suffer from this. I spent 3 years waiting for my transplant and the last year was on an artificial heart. This machine gave me 2 strokes and my diminishing blood flow affected all of my organs. My digestive system seems to have gotten the worst of it, so I'm always in some sort of pain. The emotional part is dealing with how crappy you always feel and the fact that your old life is gone. I also have a fair amount of PTSD from the years of my life hanging by a thread and the physical pain. There are a lot of good things too. I got a second chance at life and I've met my donor's family. We get together often. Having a close relative die. Being in love with someone who doesn't love you back. Being in love with someone who does love you back but for some reason you can't be together. Can confirm. Worst pain I've ever felt. Food poisoning. Food poisoning on vacation in another country where hardly anybody speaks your language. This actually happened to me when I was in the Philippines. Thankfully everyone's second language is English. Edit. Should have clarified I was hospitalized for a day. Lyme disease is worse than everyone says. It is indescribable. It destroyed my life. I'm so very sorry. I really hope you have support. The season of that 70s show where Eric leaves and is replaced by Randy. Duck Randy. SSSHHHH, we don't talk about that. That season doesn't exist. Poverty. We used to be the poorest family in our neighborhood. The worst part of it was the fact that we could barely afford groceries. Hunger was a constant companion. Many days the only meal I had all day was the free lunch I got in school. Commercials for various food products on the TV served only to torture me. Imagine watching food commercials on the TV with an empty belly and no way to rectify that in the near future. Jail. I spent one night there and that was more than enough for me. 48 dudes in an open dorm with 5 wide open exposed toilets. Fun times. Braces. The mouth sores. The crazy pliers. The gum swelling. Getting them off is the best day of your adolescent mouth's life. Let not forget when you had to chew your food like a grandma at first, because of the pain. Still better than having ducked up teeth. But yay, it was a miserable 2 years. The first day I got them on I tried to rip them off my teeth myself because they hurt so bad. Bonus points to all the kids who had expanders. Those things ducking sucks. Hurts. Have to have it adjusted every day. And constantly getting food stuck up there. Lele Pons. Childbirth. Peeing right after, comma. The best part is the first pee I had in a year from a full bladder. It took me a moment to go, wow, this is taking a while, to this feels amazing, to actually be able to empty my bladder and not feel like I have to pee again after. Heroin. Endometriosis. Other women who suffer know what I'm talking about. OCD. That is true OCD. Not just liking things put away or a clean home. The kind that makes doing anything so exhausting that you never want to get out of bed and start the day. There was a comic I saw when one character walked up to another and said, I have to have all my papers in order, I'm so OCD. After he leaves, the first character continues flipping the lights on and off. 167. 168. I ducking hate that guy. 169. The loneliness of OCD is pretty ducking wild too. That's something they don't tell you about. I saw someone mention this in the same kind of thread earlier, but colonoscopy prep. I had one when I was 18 because my gastro wanted to rule out Crohn's and all sorts of other things. I understand that the laxative stuff they give you is a bit different now, but when it was given to me, they told me to mix it with a standard bottle of Gatorade and drink it in one sitting. Also said that it was tasteless. It was ducking foul, and I had to continue drinking it until it was done. This was at noon the day before the procedure. After that, I was on the toilet every 30 minutes for the rest of the day. I mixed mine with orange Gatorade. I still cannot drink orange Gatorade nearly a decade later. It's not tasteless. It's sweet in like a sickly way. I almost didn't make it through all of the stuff and tried to bail out multiple times. Fentanyl. Also the a-hole who put it in other drugs. My dear fellow, it is countless a-holes. Here in downtown Vancouver we have already lost thousands. We can't keep up. Our ambulances go from place to place like bees, bringing them back from the dead. Over and over. Every port city in the world must be hit just as hard. It means the world is losing hundreds of thousands every year. People that are uncounted and just gone. Being cheated on. PTSD is that bad. There's a crack in your brain and you can fall into it at any point and stay down for any duration. And just when you think it's better, oh, look, it has gangrene. Bedbugs. You don't ever want those duckers near your proximity. If so, be prepared to throw everything away and spend a fortune on pest control. They are that difficult to get rid of. They aren't that hard to get rid of if you catch them early and you are well informed on proper treatment. Run everything through a dryer. Put your clothes in garbage bags. You're living out of them for the next month and a half. At least get a face mask and gloves and buy some Crossfire aerosol spray off Amazon. It's not too expensive. Spray all sides of your mattress, box spring, frame, headboard, and every couch or chair you have. If any left in the can, spray along your baseboards. A 2-bedroom apartment can be done with 1 can. Anything bigger you may need more. Repeat every 2 weeks until you stop seeing live bugs. The 2 weeks number is important. New eggs hatch every 14 days or so. 10-20 really. So you're catching every hatch out until there's nothing left. Buy bed bug covers for your mattress and box spring. That's 90% of bed bug treatments that I do. If you run everything through the dryer and live out of garbage bags, re-drying and putting back in bags, and treat every 2 weeks, there's a very real chance you will get rid of them in a month and a half. And all told should cost less than $200. Early detection is key. Really, the earlier you catch it, the easier it is to treat. Check in dark nooks and crannies of your bed and furniture, under seams and cracks, etc. Also, this shouldn't have to be said, but goddammit, don't have people over if you have bed bugs. And don't go to places you suspect has them. A female bed bug only has to get pregnant once and it continues to produce eggs for the rest of her life. All it takes is getting one pregnant female on you and you have bed bugs. Nursing homes. It's basically a prison. All I remember from visiting my grandpa is I'm never letting them take me alive. I worked in an assisted living home as a caregiver. It's horrible and I feel bad for everyone that lives there. Each day shift only had 2 caregivers for 16 residents. For the graveyard shift there was only 1 caregiver. We had to do everything. Cook, clean, bathe them, hygiene, help them to the bathroom, change their depends, do their laundry, give them their medicine. The list goes on. I quit because I couldn't do it anymore. It was eating at me because they didn't get what they needed. If someone fell in the middle of the night, we couldn't help other people. It's miserable and I only got paid $8.50 to do all of that. Too much stress to get paid so little. Most people aren't familiar with this one, but go ahead and Google Hell's Itch. A day after a moderately bad sunburn, I began to notice an itchy area around my upper torso. Over the course of a few hours it grew worse and worse, until all I could do was sit motionless in a chair screaming and hyperventilating. Every time I moved, thousands of needle-like points of itchiness would wash over my chest and back. It was a sensation unlike anything I have experienced before or since. It lasted 12 hours. Use sunscreen, kids. Ye just a fair warning to anyone who lives in the upper US Canada. If you go to Mexico, the sun is 20x worse. You are closer to the equator, and if you think you can use 30 SPF because you want a tan, you will be in a world of hurt or itch. 2018 YouTube Rewind. First video to reach 10 million dislikes and it did it in less than a week. Not vaccinating your kids. The live action Avatar movie. What movie? There was no movie. Please make your way to Lake Laogai as soon as possible. An appointment is waiting for you. When your toddler gets diagnosed with cancer and everything that follows. Basically anything under the childhood cancer umbrella. MLMs. MLMs are terrible. We all know it. But what if I told you there was a way to end MLMs for good? That's right. You're not mishearing me. Together, we can end MLMs forever. Doesn't that sound like a good thing? Stay with me. We've designed a foolproof way to eradicate MLMs. All it takes is a small initial investment to acquire your own MLM and a starting kit, and you're ready to go. The kit contains anti-MLM materials and everything you need to host your own MLM ending seminars to your friends, colleagues and loved ones. The best part is, you get to become the boss of your own MLM ending chapter once you recruit at least 5 MLM enders and facilitate the purchase of their starter kits. PM me for more details. Together, we can end the plague of MLMs for good. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.